Hi, my name is Sheri Messiner, Senior Executive Ambassador with Forever, and I'm from Chile, Wisconsin. And I'm here to talk to you about my style of making albums for my family. And I hope that it just helps you see how clean, simple, done might be a faster way to help you get along with your family books. So my why, I started using clean, simple, and done templates was when my second child was born. I decided that I could continue to be the crafty album maker and never be caught up, or I could learn how to do a simpler, quicker way on my family's albums and stay caught up with my photos and their stories. I just couldn't figure out a way to stay being a little bit more on the crafty and creative side and staying caught up. Now, don't get me wrong, neither are wrong, but it's a choice. And personally, I choose to stay current with my albums for my kids. My goal is not to worry about the art, but to always create works of art for my family. I want the art to be my kiddos' cute faces and not the stickers embellishments that I have chose. Now, if you're a crafty scrapbooker, you're here today listening to this recording, it tells me that you want to learn some tricks and tips of moving a little faster and getting it done. But like I said, you need to find the style that works for you. I hope you pick up a tip or two. I'm personally never going to say that crafty album making is wrong, because I do like to putz and be creative once in a while. I just like to save that for a special project on my wall. I always say I want my walls to smile. Do your walls smile at you when you walk in the door? But let's be real here, even when I do create some little bit more crafty looking pages like the one on the right, well, we all know that's just a pre-designed page at all. But today I'm going to focus on clean, simple, and done, because no matter if a photo is in a book or on a wall, it tells that person that you're important to me. And that's what's important to me. I'm a busy mom of 3 active kids, ages 10, 13, and 15. In the summer, I kind of even just feel like a taxi cab driver. I'm sure some of you can relate. My husband owns a large dairy farm and stays very active and busy year-round. Now, some people may think I just scrapbook all day for my job, and oh, how I wish that was true. Though, as a senior executive with Forever, my job is a flexible, full-time, and by the way, it certainly is the best job ever. It's so wonderful that my passion became my career, and I am surrounded with others that have a mission and heart to save their photos and their memories for their children. When I decided to go clean, simple, and done, my kids have never commented on the less design in my books. Truly, even when I was more creative, they never complimented me on my sticker choice or my coordinating paper colors. And honestly, I noticed them skipping over these pages faster in their books because typically there were less photos and less journaling on those pages. They were always there just to read the story and reminisce about the photos with us. When they were all younger, the 3 would say, "Tell me what you wrote about me here, Mom," because these were always the bedtime stories they chose for me to read to them. Or, "Tell me what cute thing I said here." It melts my heart because journaling does matter. Telling the story is the reason I make albums. If you had a photo album of your grandparents or your great-grandparents, would you want an album with crafty creative looking scrapbooking with no stories and just photos? Or would you like a simple, classic, timeless album that was filled with photos and stories? I bet you agree with me that we would love our albums to be filled with stories and photos. Someday, my books are going to be in the hands of my great-grandchildren, and I want them to know the story of our life in the years 2017. This summer, my 3 kids were talking and laughing and reminiscing for over an hour while they were looking at every page of my oldest son's school books. You know, I call that mom winning, when there's no fighting, arguing, and complaining, but only laughter and smiles. His writing was absolutely hilarious at that age. Books are always laying over my house, all over my house as well, on the furniture and on the floor, and I'd rather have it no other way. Even some of the pages have curled corners, and honestly, that means that my books are loved and read, and that's the best thing I can see. Before I move on to this page, I have to tell you a story that I babysit my nephews sometimes in the summer, and they came over before my 10-year-old son was awake, who they enjoy playing with. And I said to them, okay, you can come in. We got to be quiet though, because Dawson is still sleeping. And so I said, you can go jump on the trampoline, or you can go on the swing set. I could turn TV on. We could play a game. And you know what they chose? They chose to look at the albums of our family. They chose to get off some books, storybooks from the shelves, and they sat there for over an hour until my Dawson woke up. And then for the next hour, they continued to look at books and reminisce. They found themselves in the photos, and they loved every minute of it. If being caught up with your albums isn't motivating enough, another reason to stay caught up with your albums is that your friends and family are going to see this as more doable. And we all know that making albums, digital albums, is always more fun with a friend. So you can see this is a Father's Day page that I made with our Father's Day pictures from this year. I took those same photos and I put them in this page. Now, for those of you that know the pre-designed pages, of course I just dropped them in. But your friend that you would like to make albums with would see, I would guess, if you were brand new to scrapbooking, the one on the bottom left, in my opinion, looks like it's more doable. And isn't it always more fun to make albums with a friend? And so let's work together and help our friends and family and say, I can do that. Everyone's photos are important to them, but time is limited, and I want my clients and my friends and family to know they can do that. I also want you to all know that I don't just help other people do simple books, but I also live it. My son just got his temps this summer. Boy, is it different being in the back seat. Let me tell you about my friend Jeff. This is what Jeff says about his photo albums that he's created. The storybooks I have created are highly valued and prized in our house. The year's yearbooks are basic, simple picture books with dates and brief descriptions, making it easy for me to keep up on a weekly basis. By the time the year is ended, the book is ready to get printed. These will be especially valued by my daughter as memories of her past since we adopted her. I also have had our negative scanned so I can go backwards in the years and create the yearbooks before I had a digital camera. I have just completed 2001. The trip books are the same, but I may add more color to them. But they are just like the yearbooks in which they are simple picture books with texts and dates. As a family, we're always getting them out to view memories and special moments and enjoy the size, which is 8 by 8, which the library of books sits neatly on the bookshelf or to be easily transported. The text on the spine makes it easy to recognize which album we want to find without pulling out all the books. Keeping them simple helps me to enjoy making them and not to get overwhelmed by the time to do them. The nice thing is I don't have to worry about the pictures disappearing from albums. And that's my friend Jeff. Jeff primarily uses the free templates, especially basic black and basic white. Sometimes he tosses in color on the background, but usually only for his vacation books. Are you caught up as Jeff? How would your family feel to see books like Jeff's on your bookshelf? How would you feel to have books filled with stories and memories with pictures on your bookshelf and all done? So let's think of some names. Who could you invite to sit around your kitchen table and share the importance of stories and photos with? Who has told you I don't have time? Or I'm not a scrapbooker? Who's told you I'm too busy? Who loves their albums but couldn't do that? Or who used to scrapbook but gave up? Who do you know that would like to learn how to make quick, fast albums for their family that you would love to partner with? Who do you know who just had a baby or went on a recent vacation? Who just got married or posts photos on Facebook? Who takes photos with a camera phone? Now, by this time, you all should be writing down names of everyone that you know, because I believe everyone takes pictures because the memory is important to them. We wouldn't worry about scooching here and scooching there, making sure everyone's eyes closed to get the memory, just to never look at it again. So let's get it back into our lives. Now, to these friends and family that you just were thinking of on the last couple slides, what if you said to them, if I could show you in a way that in 15 minutes a day, you could organize and make a beautiful photo book or wall art, Would you like to hear more? So how about I show you that? Let me help you and them create books of love. Now, if you're a decorative album maker, don't try this with a project near and dear to your heart, like maybe your wedding or your first child, because you may not be happy. Instead, try it with a vacation you would like to show off your photos. And you'd like to show off the photos from that vacation now, and not in 5 years from now, maybe when you typically would get it done, right? I always call the books Mom's favorite souvenir. My mother-in-law always takes 2 grandchildren on a vacation, just the 3 of them, when they're about 8 to 10 years old. This year, my son Dawson got to go to his trip with Grandma in this past June. The other day, he was looking at his sister's book from her trip with Grandma and asked if I would make him one. Little did he know that the night before, in about an hour, I made his book, and I asked him to come on over and help me journal. He loved it. So the whole book is journaled in the words of a 10-year-old. And if I didn't put the comma in the right place, let me tell you, he let me know. The best part about digital books is that you bet Grandma's birthday in July and Lucas's birthday in August, you bet that I had the best gifts for them with just 1 click, and as I ordered 3 copies. Photo gifts truly make the best gifts. Whether they're on your wall or in a book, I believe they are the best. I feel the biggest obstacle with our own photo projects and our friends and family is time. So I want to help you take this obstacle away. Every month I have a click club. It's 4 hours long, but I definitely encourage everyone to work in their albums in between that as well. Now, if new clients come to a click club that want to finish a book and they only do 1 or 2 pages during that time, they probably aren't going to be as excited to come back. But if I can help them create 10 to 20 pages in that time, they definitely will return. So let me ask you, if I could show you a way that in 15 minutes a day, you could organize and make beautiful photo books or wall art, would you like to hear more? Are you ready to see? All right, let's get started. So what I would like to encourage each and every one of you listening and all your friends and family is to commit to working in your photos for 15 minutes a day with a hard stop at 30. Now, why in the world would I say hard stop at 30? And my reasoning is if you wait until you have 4 hours on a rainy Sunday, you might find one. But when's the next time you'll work on your albums? I'm going to bet that it's going to be far and in between before the next time you open up your projects to work on them. Because when we teach ourselves that we have to have 4 hours to work on an album instead of just 15 minutes, it doesn't become a lifelong activity that we can do. So if you can treat yourself to find 15 minutes a day, you will be able to find that every day. And I know you can find 15 minutes. I know most of you cruise Facebook for 15 minutes a day. How about instead of looking at your neighbor's dogs, sisters, friends, grandparents' pictures, how about you look at your family photos, those that you love and treasure? So let's get started on how I do this in 15 minutes a day. And at first, it might be awkward to only do 15 minutes a day, but I promise it's going to get easier. And if your photos are important to you, I really challenge you to find that. So what do I do in my 15 minutes? Sometimes I delete. I delete a lot. I don't believe my kids want 150 pictures from their 3rd birthday, so I just keep the most important ones. So delete, 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 and then start organizing for your book. And then go back and delete some more and organize some more. So we want your photos to be in the order that you are going to put them in the book, and only the photos that you are going to put in the book. And so if you are not ready to that stage, then you just need to keep deleting and organizing until you are. So here are my tips to work on in the 15 minutes of day. My goals are to pick 1 set of pre-designed pages to complete your entire book, or maybe 2. If you're using a template idea like I've used on most of these, like design maps or P2P blueprints, just pick 1 or 2 art kits to complete your entire book. And what I do is I make a category in my content in my Artisan, and I will name that, Grandma and Grandpa's book, or Bahamas book, and I will put just the 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 kits that I'm going to use for that entire book in that category. So when I'm in making my book and filling in some of the spots, I already have my kits chosen, and so I'm not scrolling through all of my kits, right? So step 6 would be to pick your 2 main fonts. I stick with usually one for titles and one for journaling. Now remember, these are no rules that you have to follow. There's just tips that if you're looking to cruise things along, you may consider trying to just limit the amount of titles. I also like to just pick 1 or 2 kits to complete my entire book, because I think when I look at a child's storybook from the library, usually there's just 1 or 2 there's only 1 illustrator throughout the entire book, right? It kind of gets a little distracting, I would think, at times. If you had 20 different artists and designers in your book, it just doesn't make the book flow as well. So watch your clock. If your first page took you 45 minutes, break it down to 40 minutes. Try the next stage to get to 35 and 30. Just keep working down as fast as you can. My goal is always 5 minutes, and even though you may not make it to 5 minutes, I bet you can speed it up as you go along. I always say don't redo a page. I bet you have many, many more to make. So you may not be your favorite page, but move on and make the next one. And I promise you, your family and your friends that look at your books will never, ever say it was a bad choice. I like to complete pages entirely before moving on. So I make sure my journaling is done. I've already edited it. I have everything done because it takes time to save between pages. And sometimes people can spend 4 hours creating a book, and then they go back and they have to edit it, and it takes 4 more hours because then they start tweaking. So look at the page, make sure everything is right that you want, and then hit save and move on. So tonight I'm going to show you how I made my Bahamas book from our Forever incentive trip this April. So I chose 2 templates to use. Design Maps 14, which is my ultimate favorite. I love all the design maps, especially 14 though. And I love the modern mosaics. Those are 2 art kits I feel are essentials in your artisan content. The 2 fonts I chose were Bramello and Century Gothic. I actually just chose 1 paper pack for this entire book called Tidewater Solids Paper Pack, and I did pick a few beachy embellishments that we actually got free for being on track for the trip. I also just used solid colors. So a few of my speed tips is to just bring 10 or 20 photos in at a time into Artisan, or enough to make like 1 to 4 photos, or 1 to 4 pages, I'm sorry. This is why, because I like to work in my kit for my books for 15 minutes a day. So after I've deleted and organized and picked out my kits in my 15 minutes a day, I get to make some pages, which is the fun part. And so if I bring in 300 pictures, not only is it a little bit daunting, but that's where I would get stuck on maybe working in my albums for 3 hours and not 15 minutes. So as you can see here, it's exactly like the template. I just changed a couple of the colors and filled in the paper and added 1 photo box in the middle because I needed 1 more photo. So when I get to a new page, I often count the number of photos that I want on that page. So in this instant, I had 5 pictures that I wanted to put on this page. And so I counted my photos, and then I go pick a template that works best. Now you can always tweak, and I'll show you that. But why not start with a template that is pretty close to exactly what you want? Please don't overthink it. This is what probably takes people the most time to make albums. So you have some art kits, and you probably look through every one before you find the right embellishment. Now, does it really matter on this page if I had a beach shell, or if I had a bucket, or I had a sand castle, or a sunshine? No, of course not. No one cares if it's a seashell or if it's orange or pink. Just pick one that feels right and move on. I always say I just pick the first embellishment that works. I don't care if it says Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or Santa was here. If it fits and works, it's good. Those titles don't tell my story. That's what I do in the journaling. I always say if you need to be creative, if you need your little outlet, pick 1 creative idea on a page, and please, please, please be okay with pre-designed pages just the way they are. One of my friends said she always felt bad if she only spent 2-3 minutes on a page because she felt like she should just do more. And oh my goodness, no, please embrace that. No one will ever know that you didn't create the design, and no one will know that my big one creative thing was as I set one picture as the background, and then I just simply moved off those gray pieces of paper to fill. You can also see I kind of tweaked the size of my photos just by dragging the photo box up a little bit on a couple of them. But the reason I love Design Maps 14 is they are so flexible. It's such an easy, classy looking template that is so flexible to create the size boxes that you need. All right, here's a page that shows how you can add more pictures to this box. Now this template doesn't have many pages or any pages with 8 pictures that I needed. So you can see in the top left corner, I just shrunk that picture up and I just then copy and pasted and made a few more. The great thing about Artisan in the advanced side is that there's snap guides. So when you move it over, they will automatically snap to the edges. So everything will still stay lined up perfectly. Whenever in doubt, I always say right click. So when in doubt, right click. And also, whenever in doubt, hold the shift key down. Those are my 2 little quick tips. Copy and paste is your friend. As you can see here, I just simply highlighted or selected the middle 3 picture frames and I copy and pasted them to the top and bottom to give me 9 pictures instead of 3. Now sometimes this was very easy. Sometimes I used to try to maneuver and manipulate photo boxes so I could get more on, kind of puzzling it together. And I don't know why I would waste 20 minutes doing that, because why not just make another page? Don't overstress it. They just cost so little just to add another page to your book. If there's a piece of paper on your page and you need that paper to be another photo box because you have another picture to put there, you can simply right click on that green photo box in the upper right hand corner and say fill. You choose fill and then choose convert to a photo drop point. And so if you right click on that green box in the upper left and choose fill, you'll see convert to a photo drop point. And that way you'll have another photo box if you need where they have paper. I mentioned this before, but shift is always your friend as well. So to here in this middle, there was 4 pictures and I needed 3, or I wanted 3. So I just deleted one and then I just dragged it over. Now, resizing a photo in proportion, you would hold the shift key down or just drag it. So you kind of play with that a little bit. Super easy. If you have extra spots on your pages, like this mosaic one that I did, I used to try to maneuver and make things bigger, but what's so much easier is just to click on the box that I did not use, so where you see the green and the yellow paper, and then go over to your paper choice that you're using, remember in your categories that you made, and right click on the paper choice that you want and say fill selected shape. Okay, so instead of me maneuvering and resizing all the photo boxes, I just filled in the empty ones. As you can see, it's a great place for text boxes, or maybe you'd put an embellishment on there, or like me, I just left the paper. Here's another example of the same thing, how in some I deleted a couple boxes and made the other box bigger. The great thing, like I said, they have those snap guides, so it just pulls it right over and it works perfectly. Also, I filled in a few paper boxes where I just didn't have enough photos. Another great tip that I love to do to spread out the pre-designed templates that Forever offers us to double the amount I have is that I'll create a page like you can see on the left, and then if you go to your Pages tab on the right hand side, you can click on that page that I made and you can right click on it and you can choose Insert a Mirrored Image of this page. Not only does this make a great fast 2-page layout, but it looks good too. If you just duplicate the page, you have the exact same layout, and then it just kind of looks a little bit boring. But when you make a mirrored image, as you can see now, all I have to do is drop my new photos in on the right-hand side and change it to a text box in the upper right-hand corner. So these are the templates that I use today. These are my favorite, and I think maybe they'd be your favorite too. The majority of the pages I make are with these templates, and then I just will pick 1 or 2 art kits per book or per project to fill in the spots. In Forever, I love all the design maps, but I really like 15, but honestly, 14 is my ultimate favorite. I love the Yearbook 2017 kit. That is one of my favorites. So easy and flexible to manipulate these. That's what I love, and I also love that I can add lots of photos. I really like in Storybook Legacy the spring moments, and check back soon as the summer, fall, and winter moments are being added very soon. Simple Life is another great one. It has great photo boxes that are so easy to tweakable. And remember when I said you can right click and say do fill and then convert to photo drop point? You can see on that bottom one there how easy it would be to add in another photo box if you need it with the paper. Here's a sample of kind of some of the layouts that you can expect in those 2 kits. Click Collage, the modern mosaic layouts, are so helpful. They're so easy to manipulate. Fill in the extra photo boxes with paper. Don't delete and rearrange, and add some text boxes. Everyone always loves the blueprints that Pixels to Pages offer us as well. Some Pixels to Pages blueprints will have more the blue to fill in, kind of like the Design Maps 14, how I filled in, and some are more simple. And you can guess it. I usually choose the more simple ones to purchase, but definitely take a look at those. There's a lot of choices. And as you can see, here are some samples of those too. Pixels to Pages is a great premium training site for Artisan and Historian. If you don't have it, take a look. 1 month is free. You can find it at forever.com/products, or under the products tab, or you can go to forever.com/training. Ask the person that invited you to listen to this call, or if you're an ambassador yourself, take a look. Every month, members will get 2 sets of blueprints. They'll get 9 12 by 12 free blueprints and 9 8.5 by 11 blueprints as part of your membership. And so what a great gift to get every month to help you along with your projects. Now, the hardest part is just doing it, but I believe in you. I would love for you to try a couple of these tips and just try it. And if you're a real creative, crafty scrapbooker, try every other page. Maybe do 1 more creative and 1 simpler. But try to watch your clock and try a couple of these steps to see if it's something that can work for you to speed up. Because I promise you, your friends and family do not care about the embellishments. They really are passionate to read your stories and see the photos and get them in your hands. Let me show you a few more that I've designed just recently. This one is in Forever Design Maps 15. It's a house project remodel that we're currently working on. This is a page using the Yearbook 2017 that my daughter came home from camp, and we were looking at her pictures, and she's 13. And instead of her just showing me the pictures, I had her make me a page. So I love that 13-year-olds can also make their own books now, right? These next few pages are all made with Design Maps 14, and I just want to show you the flexibility and the ease of maneuvering these. So easy to make them work for you. This one, all I did was simply right-click on a piece of paper and say Add to my background. So that's 1 piece of paper behind a design map, exactly how it's created. I made this page in just a couple minutes. As this one, likewise, same exact story, made in a couple minutes. And some of my pages are 2-page spreads and the story's on the other side. So I love to add my photos to the boxes for the pictures. So when I clicked on the gray piece of paper in this design map, I went over to my photos of the blueberries and I right-clicked and said Fill Selected Shape, and in went my blueberries. Again, didn't do any tweaking on this page, just about 2 minutes to make this page. This one has an absolutely fantastic story, and I just think this is my funniest. This is my funny little guy my funny little Dawson. But here's another look at how you can make it a little bit more decorative looking by adding a few more embellishments, but still very easy. Everyone calls me Mamarazzi. I take too many pictures, and I don't believe that my kids need one different page for every activity we do. So a lot of times I pull together a few summer activities or fall or winter and pull them together on one page. So as you can see, this is 3 different events in our life, from the hamster ball to the county fair to losing his braces. Now, to me, this is pretty crafty looking. But again, I just want to assure you I did nothing to this page but add a background piece of paper. The template is as is, and the design map's 14, and so it looks pretty decorative. Again, exact same, just simply added the berry paper, just adds to a fun page for our berry picking. And then here we go, 4th of July. So I hope you can see you can add a little pizzazz to the simple, or you can keep them very basic like I do too with the mosaics. I really hope you give this a try. I hope you play with it a little bit and watch your clock and try to move things along, because family's memories are important and family stories important. So let's get them in our hands. Thanks for joining me.